We go through some basic meditation guidelines, meditation instructions for some of the yogis who are very new here. Yeah? Now, in the first few days, now here, this group of yogis, in this group of yogis, there are some yogis just finished from another retreat. We just came from another retreat, a group of y'all came from another retreat. Some of you may came from the Balik Pulau. Reverend Jyotinanja just finished a retreat. Some may come from another place, maybe a Lunas or so whatsoever. Some already been here for a few days into the retreat. All right, so your mind is a bit calm. Then there are another group, some of y'all may be totally new into this Vipassana retreat. Perhaps you may have done one-day retreat here, Friday night classes, Monday night classes in the Mahindrama. So you may have some basic meditation practice. But while you're in the retreat, the strategy of meditation, although it's there, but we have to fine-tune it in order for you to survive in a retreat. If you don't fine-tune, if you don't practice it properly, sometimes you end up with a lot of tension, with a lot of headache, with a lot of problems. So we don't want you to fall into that stage. So you must learn to begin, when you begin your retreat, you got to learn to do it more gently, but consistently. Gently but consistently, in order for the mindfulness to arise and the clarity of the mind to arise. First few days, you're going to be, for those who are new and starting the retreat today, and not like some yogis has a follow-up retreat from some weeks back, or from another retreat, and you come here. So those who just arrived today, just came today, then here, the first few days that you're going to go through is a lot of sleepiness, drowsiness, especially if you are a new yogi here. First few days, you're going to meditate and nothing much for you to see. The moment you sit down, give you 10 minutes, that's it. Until the next bell rings at the next hour. Then only you wake up. Other than that, it's not going to be very clear for a lot of us. And every time that you are beginning new into the meditation, it's a bit more challenging. So, in the first few days, your sitting is going to be a lot of sleepiness. That's perfectly all right. That's perfectly all right. So in the first few days, you don't worry too much about your sitting meditation. What you should take note of is your walking meditation and your daily activities. These two activities is going to bring in the clarity, mindfulness, concentration, and so on. Not your sitting meditation for the first few days. So don't overemphasize on your sitting meditation in the first few days. It may not be very clear. It's perfectly all right. What we want you to see is during in the walking meditation. If you don't do your walking meditation properly, if you don't do it clearly, thoroughly, then the next coming days, nothing much in the progress of this Vipassana. So you keep your sitting meditation aside first, for those who are especially coming in for the first day. Take note of the walking meditation. Now when it comes to the walking meditation, you take it with the attitude that walking meditation is as important as sitting meditation when it days to come, Don't neglect the walking meditation, even you are a advanced yogi or a seasoned yogi or whether you are experienced yogi. The walking meditation, especially when you are in the retreat, it is so crucial. Without doing it properly, your meditation retreat is going to get stagnant. Or maybe not stagnant, but slow. I've gone to many places. I've been to Burma. I've been to India, Sri Lanka. I've been to Thailand, and I've seen yogis practice. And most of the time, yogis is just practice. They want to do sitting. Then we know that when we talk to them, when we look at their experience, then their mind is just very calm, empty, nothing. To them, it's all progress. But this is not the progress of what the Buddha thought. In the progress of this meditation, it's a clarity of the mind, alertness of the mind. When the mind is alert, you begin to see the true nature of things as they are. So here, the first few days, you have to keep the mind alert to bring up that clarity of the mind. To bring in the clarity of the mind, walking meditation is the first thing you have to consider it properly. So the first, for those who are not familiar with walking meditation, here, walking meditation, we do 1 hour. And you try to finish this 1 hour. Okay? For those who are beginners, to make it things easy, we advise you to do 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. First 20, second 20, and the third 20 minutes. So this is the beginner part of it. First 20 minutes, we call it we do the first phase. Second 20 minutes, we do it the second phase of the the 2-phase walking meditation. And the third 20 minutes, we do the 3-phase walking meditation. First 20, second 20, third 20 minutes. First phase, second phase, and the third phase. But if you are more experienced, then afterwards I'll talk about it. Things are a bit more different. Although the basic practice remains the same, but how much time you spend on a certain phases will be different. Okay? Now, when we begin the walking meditation, okay, you take your lane, and hopefully the lane is about 15 to 20 steps like that. Don't take too far away. The lane here is all, especially the topmost floor, the lane is already designated for you. It's being, they have the tape is on the ground, on the floor, for you to designate that walking space for you. For the male here, you walk, how do you call it? From normally you walk. You don't walk cross from one end to the other end, I mean from here to there. That's not the way. It's from here to here. Normally for walking meditation, we take about 15 to 20 steps. And not more than that. Around 15 to 20 steps. When you have your area of walking meditation and your designated lane for your walking meditation, then here you begin. You stand there, keep your eyes low, about 5-6 feet in front of you. Okay? Don't start the walking yet, but just learn to feel the body here. Feeling the body that you are here right now, just feel it as standing. Don't kanjiong on the walk. Take your time. Standing. Feel the body first. Not just A lot of times people do meditation, mentally kong, mentally say only, but you don't feel it anything at all. No, you say it something, you mentally say it, you also have to be able to feel it in the body. If you know that you are standing, you must learn to feel that the whole body is standing. Then only the meditation retreat starts, and the meditation proper starts. So you learn to feel the body. You learn to feel the body first, that you are standing here. Don't rush into the walking yet. Just learn to feel for a few times until you feel quite good. Standing. Sometimes you can feel a bit of tightness, sometimes a bit of hardness here and there. Then learn to feel it as it is. Don't go and kacau it. Don't go and disturb it. Don't go and shake it away. Just learn to feel the whole sensation right here. Then after that, you want to start the walking. When you want to start the walking, before you start the walking, you note intention. Intention to walk, intention to walk, intention to walk. That means that in the mind here, you say it out. You mentally say it out that you are going to walk. Intention to walk, intention to walk, intention to walk. Say 2 or 3 times. Mentally first. Now after that you say it mentally. Then only you start the walking proper. Then only you start. Now the first 20 minutes, for those who are beginner here, you just start off with a right step and a left step, and a right step, left step. What I mean by a right step and left step? Means here, you mentally, you label it. If you're on the right leg, if your leg is stepping down on the floor, then you step it down, then you mentally say, right step. Then if you go to the left step, then you put it left step, right step, left step, right step, left step, right step. To bring your mind into the present moment. To bring your mind into the here and now that you are walking. So you just do it simple first. And this first phase walking meditation, don't underestimate. It can be very helpful for you, even if you are seasoned yogis. Don't neglect this area. Make sure you learn to master the skill of this walking meditation in every phase. Even in the one phase, it looks simple, but there are much more than that for you to see. So, learn to feel first. Right step, left step, right step, left step, until towards the end of your lane. Then, before you stop, then if you can, you take note of the intention that we are going to stop. You're going to stop. If you can able to feel it, okay. If you cannot feel that intention, never mind. If you can feel it, then after 2 or 3 steps later, then the body will come to a stop. Okay? So when your body comes to a stop, then this time you also label it as standing, 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 standing. Then you're standing after that, you make an intention to turn. Turning, 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 and then you turn on the spot, not make a U-turn, You turn on the spot. When you turn, you go into somebody else's lane already. But you turn on your spot. You turn on your spot, you come back, and you face your lane all over again. So in the same token here, while you're standing, you label it as standing, 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 standing. Then before you walk, what do you do? What do you do? The intention again. You lay intention to walk, intention to walk. Then only you start the right step, left step, right step, left step. That's how a yogi begins the walking meditation. If you are not a yogi, then you will be outside there. We just walk whenever we want. When we don't even care whether what intention or what not, As long as the food there, you walk there. As long as something nice there, you walk there, without realizing what is happening in this mind and body. So as a yogi, the end of the journey is not important. What is important is that do you know what is happening at the moment while you are doing it? So while you are standing, you take note of the standing. When you want to wish to walk, you take note of the mind. Intention to walk, intention to walk. Then after that, you start the right step, left step, right step, left step. Do for 15, 20 minutes around there. Agak-agak lah. 15, 20 minutes around that period of time. Then after that, as the mind calms down, if you do in this way, as the mind calms down, then after that we start off with the two-phase walking meditation. The two-phase walking meditation here is that the movements begins to divide into the two phases. Sometimes they call it the two steps. In some books they call it the two-step meditation. Sometimes in some books they call it the two phases meditation. So this time, the movement of a leg is divided into a lifting and a dropping. Instead of just right step, left step. Now here is a single leg is divided into a lifting and dropping. So that, in other words, you're going to slow down a bit. Your movements of your second phase is slower than your first phase. Okay? You're going to be a bit slower than in the first phase. So here, you label it also mentally, labeling it as intention. You intention to start the walking. You still do this intention to walk. Then after that, you start off with lifting, dropping. Lifting, dropping, lifting, dropping. That means you mentally say it out. This time, lifting, dropping. Lifting, dropping, the next leg, lifting, dropping. Now here, when you say the lifting and dropping, I want you to learn to feel something. Not just let it move on its own, let it move, but the mind is not so clear. I want your mind to be there with it. As it lift up, you feel it. There's a lifting here. Dropping, you feel the dropping there. Sometimes the lifting can be a bit more heavier. Sometimes the dropping can be a bit more faster. Then you know that there's a difference there. Sometimes the stepping down, it can be a bit warmer. Okay, you can learn to feel it. Okay, then learn to feel it in that way. Sometimes the lifting can be a bit tighter. Then you learn to feel it as it's tight. Don't go and push the tightness away. Vipassana is to see things as they are. If it's the tightness comes in, you learn to feel it as tightness. Don't you go and shake the leg and then, I don't want this tightness, I want the easy lifting, very nice, very comfortable. That is not Vipassana, that is what you want. Vipassana is to see things as it is. If it's tight, you learn to feel it as tightness. If it's when you drop, you feel that it's hot, then you feel it's hot. Doesn't mean that I don't like this hot. You got to learn to feel it as it is. So far can follow? Yeah? Not too difficult, isn't it? Say it's not too difficult. Try to do and see. The problem is, the instruction is not difficult. The problem is the next thing is the thinking mind that's going to come in. The thinking mind, your wandering mind, your nonsense mind, that will start coming in and disturb the whole meditation. Yeah? But again, here the thinking mind, you must not look at it as disturbance. It's also as part of the whole Dhamma. It's part of the whole progress. It's part of the whole it's part of the whole Vipassana. If Vipassana without all the hindrance, no challenge. It's about the hindrances. The hindrances is part of the game. So, when the thinking comes in, you learn to accept them as they are. When the thinking comes in, this time, let's say you are doing a one-phase walking meditation. You right step, left step, right step, left step. And then you notice that the thoughts are coming in. Now, usually there are two types of thoughts that are going to come in. For a beginner, for these basic instructions, we just say that thoughts come in. There's one first type of thought is a very long type of thinking. The second type of thought, that it comes in and it's already disappear. It comes in, by the time you know it, it kind of disappear. You know it kind of disappear. But the first one is that it comes in, it doesn't want to disappear. It comes in, it keep going and going and going and going and going. It may be a thought of anger, it may be thought of something greedy or something else, past, present, future. It may just keep going. That is called a long thought. So a short thought, a very short thinking is just that it comes in, you take notice of it once or twice, it kind of disappears. So usually these two types of thinking will come into your meditation, especially in the beginning of the retreat. So what you do is here. If you are doing the right step, left step, right step, left step, and you feel that the thoughts are coming in, and you take note of that thought, it disappears. Okay, if it disappears, you don't have to stop. You just keep going, right step, left step. And then you step again, and then it comes in again. You take note of it. There is still there. Okay, then it disappears. And then that type of thoughts, you don't have to stop. You just keep going on. But another type of thoughts that's thinking, that one you have to stop the walking. That means after a right step, left step, right step, left step, then you think of your past. And then initially, you don't realize it. You will drag along for a while, then only you start to realize that, I caught into the thinking. So when you caught into the thinking, but the thinking still doesn't stop. You still keep on going and going. At that time, you stop for a while. You stop your walking for a while, then this time you're not thinking, or planning, or history, whatever that's going on inside the mind. As long as you don't go into their story. Don't go in their story, don't go into the content. If you go into the content, the story and the thoughts and the thinking will go on and on and on. We will all these things, I will explain it further on as we come in the next few days. About the thinking, about the planning, about what things that you should do further, and what things you should not supposed to do. We'll talk about that also. In the meantime, while you are here, since this is a basic instruction, just take note of it. Just take note of it as just thinking, planning, until it kind of like disappear. Then after that, you start again with the right step, left step, right step, left step again. Or lifting, dropping, whichever that you have been doing just now before the thoughts come in. A few things also while we are walking here and there, because your eyes are open, you got to be very careful of what you see. Here, as we walk, especially while downstairs, or especially the downstairs here, there's a lot of times people may come in and go out and come in and go out from the main door. So you got to be careful. Don't let the eyes stray into it and see who is coming in, who is going out. Just keep your eyes 5 or 6 feet in front of you, or 1 or 2 meters in front of you. Don't let the eyes go anywhere. Especially also when you finish your you go towards the end of your walking path. That also, you got to take note of your eyes also. Sometimes our walking is just at the walking, but at the end, you start scanning the horizon. You scan the horizon, you scan the trees, you scan the good tea, you scan the teachers, you scan everybody else. So here, you got to be careful while you're walking. Keep your eyes 5 or 6 feet in front of you, or 1 or 2 meters in front of you. So after the 20 minutes of 15-20 minutes or so, then you start off with the third phase walking meditation. Now the 3 phase or the third phase walking meditation here, again the movement is divided further into 3 parts. Lifting, a pushing, and a dropping. A lifting, pushing, dropping. Here again, while you're moving, you take note of the lifting as lifting, pushing as pushing, dropping as dropping. You label it as it is, or stepping if you want to. Yeah? But this time, at the third phase, you are even more slower than the second phase. Then what is important here is that you can able to feel further. If you say that you are lifting, not just only the movement that you can feel, try to feel also whether other things you can feel or not. Say, for example, the tightness is there, or the lightness is there, or the heaviness that you can feel in the lifting. As in the pushing also, the same thing. Try to feel not just only pushing, but you try to feel whether there is a warmness, or sometimes you can feel some wind blowing, sometimes you feel like nothing much also, you know that it's nothing much there. Sometimes when it drops, you can kind of abruptly drop, or very slowly it drops. Sometimes when it drops, you feel the hardness, you feel the coldness. Sometimes you feel the toes touching down first. Sometimes you feel the heels touching down. Sometimes you feel the whole soles are actually going down together. Whichever that is moving, however that is moving to you, you got to keep it natural. Feel it, what is happening. Because when you come to report to me, if you tell me about lifting, pushing, walking, Bhante, then I ask you, what can you notice? I can notice lifting, pushing, dropping. Lifting, pushing, dropping. I can notice it for a long period of time. What else? Nothing else already. Like that, not good enough. Like that, your meditation for a long period of time is going to be like that only. Then year in, year out, you come into a retreat. How come nothing one? How come no progress? Because you don't feel extra of what is happening there. So in other words, you got to put in an effort to really feel what is happening, especially at the third phase here. Now, if some of you are a beginner, then there are also experienced yogis also meditating beside you. Now, some people, while they are doing this meditation, some yogis, they can start off quite fast, the third phase already. Maybe after that 10 minutes or so, they're already very slow already. And then you look at yourself, how come I'm still going so fast? that yogi is already going so slow. Don't go and compare yourself with others. Please don't compare yourself with others. People coming from other retreats, they are much more calmer than you, So don't go and compare with others. Follow my instruction. 10-15 minutes first phase, 10-15 minutes or second phase, and 10-15 minutes or 10-20 minutes for the third phase. For a beginner, you need to master the first phase, the second phase, and the third phase. I mean, you need to master them. The third phase here, although this part is very important for us to be very precise and to be very clear, but you cannot maintain this part for too long a period of time. Because if you do it for a too long period of time, you're going to end up with a lot of tension. You're going to end up with a lot of problem. You've got to start off with the first phase. You've got to start off with the second phase. Then only when the mind calms down, when the body is relaxed, then only you can do the third phase. A lot of times yogis, when it comes into this vipassana meditation, I've seen the moment they start the walking meditation, they go slower than the tortoise, You put the snail there, you put the snail beside it, they go slower than the snail. In the beginning of the walking, that's not right. Because this type of yogis, you just give them 1 week, 5 days, that's it. Break down. Too tight. Too tense. You can't even survive a 1 week retreat. So in order for us to survive in a long retreat, the strategy is important. Just don't think that third phase is so important, very clearly, I want to do it as much as I can. No, it's just like a car, as I said many times, in the past. When you drive a car, you got to start off with first gear, then second gear, and a third gear, and fourth gear, and fifth gear. You cannot just simply any gear that you want to start, can you? Can you move a gear, your car with let's say a fifth gear? You cannot. Every time you do that, what will happen to your engine and your clutch system is all break down. Nowadays, when you talk about changing gear, nowadays, some people have no idea about what gear is. All they know is they step on the pedal, as long as it moves, that's it. Those days, we have a manual car. You got to change the gear correctly. If you don't change it correctly, your engine is going to have a lot of problems. So it's the same thing here. The same thing here. You got to start off with first phase first. Don't rush into second phase. Make sure that you're calm down. When your body is easy, your mind is more alert, and your mind is not distracted. Then you go into the second phase. And when you go into the second phase, you feel more at ease, you feel more good. Then you go into the third phase. Then when you go into the third phase, you feel that you can be able to sustain for a longer period of time. Well, then good. Do it until until you finish the 1 hour period here. So this is how you do. Now, if you cannot sustain on the third phase, let's say after you've done it for about 10 minutes, and you find that your body is a bit tight, your tension is coming up, okay, go back to the second phase. Cannot go back to the one phase. Go back to one phase, ease it off first, get ready first, then you come into the second phase again, then come into the third phase again. Now, over the days, as your ability and your mindfulness gets stronger, clearer, then you find that next time you can able to sustain on the third phase for a longer and longer period of time without the tension, without the problems coming in. So you got to give yourself some time. Don't rush into this walking meditation. That's why a lot of times in the meditation centers, I've noticed that yogis, they don't pay attention to the walking meditation because every time they do the walking meditation, they start off with the wrong strategy. When you start off with the wrong strategy, well, you end up with a lot of problem. So the first phase, it helps you to relax a little bit. It helps you to calm down. And the third phase, it helps you to make a lot of effort, a lot of clarity, a lot of penetration of the mind. So you finish that 1 hour. You finish at 1 hour. Then after that, you slowly walk to your walking space. To your sitting. Then you do your sitting. Then after that, we start off with the sitting meditation. So far, you're okay? Can follow? So don't rush into your walking meditation. Just do it gently and let it gently build it up. Then only the walking meditation, you'll find it very interesting. There's a lot of things that you can able to discover. That's things that you have not seen it before when your mind is clear and calm. Then you feel that sometimes the walking meditation is so much more helpful than the sitting meditation. Don't underestimate it. Any question before we go on? Okay, if you don't have any question, then we go on to the basic instruction on the sitting meditation. Now in the sitting meditation here, in a sitting meditation, we try to, in the retreat, you also sit 1 hour. Although when you are at home or in other places and you may able to sit 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. We are not trying to achieve that. We're trying to achieve here is that you're trying to achieve 7 hours of sitting of 1 hour each. Okay? 7 hours of sitting of 1 hour each. There are a lot of goodness in it also, in this way. Later I'll talk about it because this is just a basic instructions. Other times you can talk about it. So, you try to go with your sitting meditation for, you follow the sitting schedule. And then when you go into the sitting posture, let's talk about a little bit of posture. Now, some people sit with the Burmese style. The Burmese style is that you don't put it on top of each other. Your two legs don't overlap on each other. Both of it is on the ground. The other one is called a quarter lotus posture. A quarter lotus is that you put one of your feet on the calf, and then a half lotus is on the thigh, and then the full lotus is that the two legs is on the thigh. The 2 feet, the 2 soles there is on the thigh. It doesn't matter which one, as long as you feel comfortable. Some people not able to sit totally flat. They may need to put a bit of cushion at the knees there or the buttock there. Well and good. But if you need to put some cushion at your buttocks, then there are so many cushions here. Just make sure that you're comfortable enough. Once you're comfortable in your posture, you don't change it for the next hour. You just sit in that particular posture as best as you can. Other times we will elaborate on the posture more. So this time, most of us have been done some retreats before. So the posture, right now, you already have your own posture. Well and good. So your hands, you put your hands on top of each other. Or some people, they want to put it on their knees. Also can, no problem. Your back is straight, but not stiff. Straight but not stiff. Straight but relaxed type of straight. Your head also straight, but you close your eyes. You close your eyes, but your eyeball is about 3 or 4 feet in front of you. It's about slightly less than 1 meter in front of you. As long as you feel comfortable, not like seeing directly in front, but your eyes is like downwards, downcast, but your eyes are closed. So, if you feel that sometimes your pants may be a bit tight, so loosen up a bit. If your specs feels heavy, then take off the spec. All right. Then before you start off with all these things, then make sure that you finish your drinks and your whatever and so on. My advice here, since we are having a group sitting, especially in the morning, before you start off with your water bottles, your bag, your tumbler, all of these things, you have to put it to the table there. You put it to the table there. Because there are once or twice, sometimes there'll be yogis. They will bring a plastic bag to beside them. Then while in the middle of everybody sitting, they'll be start searching for something inside there. Then in some places it's very quiet. Then even these small little movements of their plastic and all that is very noisy. So my advice is that all your water, all your bags, all the things that you don't really need while you're sitting, you put it all aside to the tables there. There are so many tables beside the sitting bed. There in the aircon room in front there's a small table. Put it outside there. In the library here, there are some tables here. Put it outside there. So in order not to disturb other yogis. Okay? Not to disturb other yogis. Okay. Now, when it comes into the sitting posture, sitting posture, most of the time I said, it only give you 5% of your whole progress of your meditation. 5% only. The other 95% is what you pay attention inside you. So that one is so much more important. So, while we are sitting here, once you are ready to sit down and everything you adjusted, your eyes are already closed, especially for new yogis, don't go and force yourself into rising, falling yet. Wait for a while. For experienced yogi, it's different. You can directly go to a rising and falling, and you pay attention to it. Perfectly all right. But for a new yogi, you sit down. Again, here you learn to feel your body. You learn to feel the body first. Let's bring the mind towards the body first. Learn to feel the body from top of the head. Gently, slowly feel the body. Just do it for 15, 20 seconds. But not more than 1 minute. 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds enough. About 1 minute, perfectly all right. Not until like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to feel the whole body. In the retreat, you're not supposed to do like that. But because you are a beginner, if some of you are a beginner, then it's good that you do it in this way, because there's something big for you to hold on, for the mind to hold on. In other places that I came to know of, yogis are being taught to do this way for 15 minutes or 20 minutes to do this. Every yogi, they have to do it. When they do this way for too long, your concentration and your mindfulness will disappear. So just 15, 20 seconds or 1 minute, that's it. Just the purpose is to bring the mind back to the present. So when you do this sitting, then you're not sitting. You know that the body is sitting here. Just not sitting. Learn to feel it first. Learn to feel it. Once you are ready, you bring the mind towards the rising and falling of the abdomen. In the rising and falling of the abdomen here, first of all, you breathe naturally. You don't force your breath in any way also. Even the breath is shallow, you should not force it. You feel it as rising, falling, rising, falling. In the beginning part, for a new yogi, it's going to be a bit more difficult to feel it. Sometimes it may take you 3 or 4 days or 5 days or 6 days before you can feel even some rising and falling of the abdomen. But just be patient. You got to be patient. We've seen many yogis in the beginning part, they have a trouble of getting the rising and falling. We understand that. If you don't do your walking meditation properly, your sitting is going to be affected so much. Especially noticing what is happening with the rising and falling and the sensation that's happening in the body. So while you're sitting here, you feel the rising and falling. Now this time, again, you label it. Beginners, it's important that you label it. As you rise, you label it as rising. Fall, you label it as falling. Rising, falling, rising, falling. Now, if it happens that your rising is going up and down, let it be also, Don't go and kacau it. Don't go and disturb it. Just let it be. If the rising goes up, you just not rising up, falling down, rising, falling, if it's good. If it go forward and backward, then let it be. Forward and backward. Sometimes it go a bit diagonal, and then let it be. Rising, falling, as it is. Don't go and disturb the whole process of the rising and falling. See what is happening. Not what you want, not what you want in the rising and falling. Your job is to see what is happening in the rising and falling. Okay? It's what is happening in the rising and falling. If it's short, then you notice that it's short. A short rising, short falling, short rising. If it's fast, you know it's fast. If you know that it's clear, you know it's clear. If it's not clear, you know it's not clear. If it's sometimes it get tight, you know it's tight. Sometimes it get clamp, you know that it is happening in that way. Okay? You feel what is really happening with the rising and falling. You learn to feel. Sometimes you can feel it for a short while, and then after that it kind of like fade off and then disappear, very vague. Then after that it can come back again. It's not going to be clear all the way, especially if you are a beginner. But if you are a seasoned yogi, it's a different thing. A whole hour also, the rising and falling also can be there. No problem. But if since you're a beginner, sometimes it's difficult for you to be able to follow the rising and falling. Now, when you follow this rising and falling, then if the rising and falling is not very clear, don't stay on with the rising and falling anymore. Here, you got to let go the rising and falling when things are not clear. You find that rising and falling a bit vague, not so clear. Nó nghe lại rồi, you feel nghe lại, you try to go and see some more, you gotta grit your teeth, I want to see some more, I want to go, and you're going to end up with a lot of headache, end up with a lot of problem. But if the rising and falling is not so clear, let it go. Then go to a sitting and touching. Another object is called a sitting and touching. Here the sitting and touching here is that for a beginner, you take your hands, your palms touching, right buttock, left buttock. Just take these 3 points for now. Hand touching, right buttock, left buttock. So how do? You let go of the rising and falling. You bring the attention to the touch points, to your palms here. Then you feel it as touching, 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 touching. Touching here means while you're labeling it 4 times or 5 times, at the same time, you learn to feel something, whether it's warm, whether it's cold, whether it's hot. If you can able to feel something, you move on to the next object, which is the buttock here. Now you learn to feel the buttock. In the beginning part of the meditation, the buttock also, it feels like just one lump. Not right, not left. In the later part, perhaps you can able to feel this too. But if you happen to feel it, then if you're able to notice it, just one lump, you just notice it as sitting, 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 sitting. In the sense that the buttock is on the sitting cushion. Sitting, 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 sitting. Note it 4 or 5 times. Then after that, you notice the touching. Touching, 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 and sitting, sitting, sitting. Now if you can feel the left buttock and the right buttock, then you add in another one. From touching, 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 then you feel sitting, 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 then another buttock, sitting, 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 then the hands, touching, 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 touching. You go clockwise, or you can go anti-clockwise. While you are sitting there, if you feel some hardness or softness, you learn to feel it also. Hardness, or softness, or warmness. That you should learn to feel it. Now in this sitting and touching, you got to learn to master it also. As much as you want to master the rising and falling of the abdomen, you also learn to master this sitting and touching. Because this sitting and touching, as the days comes in also, we will teach you how to use this sitting and touching to overcome all your thinking and overcome all your sleepiness and overcome all your nonsense in your mind, especially all the hindrances. And it is very, very helpful technique, this sitting and touching. So if the rising and falling is clear again, then you go back to the rising and falling. Then in the meantime, while you are sitting there, the thinking may comes in again. Again here in the beginning part, you take note of the 2 types of thinking, long thinking or short thinking. If it's just a short thinking, by the time you note it, carry on with your object. If the long thinking is still there, let go of other object, then thinking, planning, history, memory, planning, or whatever that you are going through, until the thinking slowly goes off. Huh? It's the same thing. It's the same principle. Just pay attention to them. Don't go into their story. You go into their story, you're going to go further and more into the thinking. Yeah? So, while in the sitting also, there may be some heat that comes in. Itchiness comes in. For example, if the itchiness comes in, if something bites you, then you got to be careful with the mind. You keep on noting itchy, more itchy. Hot, burning. You see it as it is. Don't go and scratch it. Try not to go and scratch it. You see it as it is. See until it kind of like slowly fade away. As it fades away, nothing much already. Come back to the rising and falling. If you're sitting down, again, some noise comes in. You're not hearing. Let it go. Come back again. Don't go in not hearing it. Who are they? What are they doing? Who is talking? And then all these things are all thinking already. Yeah? So make sure you come back to the body again. What else? The pain. The pain will come in if you sit a bit there for longer. Sometimes for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the pain will start coming in. When the pain starts coming in, let go of every other thing. Pay attention to the pain. Then just take note the pain of... First of all, you got to be brave to face the pain. Learn to be brave to face the pain. Then when the pain arises, note it as hard, or soft pain, or burning pain, or what else? Twisting, cramming, tightening, numbing. If it's numbing pain, then you know numbing. Mentally you say it out. If it's a tight pain, you know tight. If it's a pulling pain, you're not pulling. Mentally you say it. This is the first thing that when you pay attention. The second thing you pay attention is to see the changes of the pain. How the pain increases, how the pain decreases, or how the pain changes from one pain to another pain. Sometimes, or most of the time, the pain keeps increasing. Then you feel the hardness increasing, hardening. You pay attention to it as best as you can. Try not to change your posture, especially for beginner. Try not to bring in the habit of changing. Try to stay there as best as you can. Now, for a beginner, usually it's even difficult for sit half an hour. If you really cannot sit for half an hour, get up and do the 5 minutes walking. Come back again and finish up to the hour again. The next day, try to push it a little bit further, maybe up to 35 minutes. Then before you break. Then the next day, 40 minutes. The next day, 45 minutes. By the time end of the week, next week, you can sit already 1 hour. And you can already sit 1 hour. So it's all about trying to push it a little bit more. So this is on the basic on the walking and sitting. Over the days, we're going to repeat some of the things here that what we have said. And we're a bit more detailed, a little bit more to see what is happening inside the mind and the body and how we can able to improve and refine the whole practice. All right. Any question before we go? If it's during sitting, if you develop stomach ache, no, it all depends. You see, in the sitting, you got to make a clear judgment for yourself. Like, for example, if something bites you, It's a mosquito bite you or something bite you, but you do not know, but you feel pain, you know. So that time you must learn to tahan a little bit. Yeah. Stomach pain also the same thing. If it's not urgent for you to go to toilet, then you hold on a bit. Learn to take the pain as part of the whole practice. Then this time your object is your pain. Stomach cramming, pulling, and you use it as an object. If it disappears, clear, well and good. If it doesn't clear, if you need to go to the toilet, make an intention to get up, to break from the sitting, then you go to the toilet. It's not a must that you must sit until, you know. It's all about you judge it for yourself. Yeah. Okay? All right. We must be tired for now. What's the time now? 5:45. All right. So, take a shower, take rest, make some drinks if you want to. And then after that, 1 hour of sitting. Then after that, at 8:15, we come back here again. We come back here again. I give you another topic to look into. Okay? So we stop here for now. Yeah? Okay, we share merits tonight only. Okay. Carry on.